Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for tuning in. Sorry it took a little while. We have a lot to talk about, and Nancy Pelosi wants to reschedule. She wants to reschedule the State of the Union, which is bizarre and more of a public relations stunt. It's very, very bizarre because I don't think that I don't think she can. B, it's nothing more than a petulant media public relations type of thing. There is no way that she can reschedule. There's no way that she can reschedule the State of the Union until after the government reopens. That makes no sense. But let me read you this. Professor Chaos, hello. Let me read you this. By the way, thank you for waiting. I know it took a little while, so for the people who stayed, I appreciate it. Nancy Pelosi just pulled a major power move on Donald Trump's State of the Union. Really? What? Oh my God. What a power move. Sometimes the best power moves in politics are conveyed in the most mundane language. How is this a power move? Pelosi's decision to disinvite Trump. Well, of course they're gonna try to impeach him any chance they get after the Mueller probe, the Mueller report. They've already tried to impeach him before they got the House. So it's like it really is meaningless. It's really meaningless. This is nothing more than. It's really nothing more than a political insult, really, what it is. Sometimes, sadly, given the security concerns and unless government reopens this week, I suggest we work together to determine another suitable date after government has reopened for this address, or for you to consider delivering your State of the Union address in writing. Yes. Yes. Is there anything better? What about an email? How about just tweet the State of the Union? If trust me, if you tweeted it, it would be like, no, don't tweet it. Twitter has enough, influence in our society, unethical, unneeded influence. She wants him to write. She wants him to. She wants him to write the State of the Union. Just go ahead and write it. Just go ahead and write it. It's okay. Just write it. It's like, just go ahead and write the State of the Union address, Oh my God. To my super chat, by the way, thank you so very much. You give me every incentive to rock these live streams. Joshua Jennings, hello. Cyan, hello. It's come to the point where it's like completely absurd. This is completely absurd. Make no mistake, Pelosi's decision to disinvite Trump. Okay. This is ridiculous. I didn't even know a president was really invited to speak the State of the Union, but whatever. Who cares? It's a formality. It's a total power play designed to remind Trump that Congress is co-equal branch of government. It's co-equal branch. That's why when Mark Meadows and Jim Jordan and everybody was trying to get information from Rod Rosenstein, he was like, nah, no, you're not so co-equal. His willingness to keep the government shuttered until he gets money for a border wall is going to have impacts on him too. So that's bizarre. Can they? I'm not 100% sure if she can go through with it. Just in case you missed that message, Pelosi delivered again on CNN. Well, CNN's Ashley Killot. I haven't watched the show, but CNN is an extension of the Democratic Party. That's fine. This is a housekeeping matter in Congress in the Congress of the United States, so we can honor the responsibility of the invitation we extended to the president. He can make it from the Oval Office if he wants. Are you kidding me? If she does this, it's only going to, if indeed she can. Let's see. What Pelosi is saying there is essentially, look, Trump can give a speech if he wants, but we are not going to give him the platform of a bipartisan session of Congress to do it unless he reopens the government. Let's see. And from a logical standpoint, Pelosi is well within her rights to rescind the invitation. It's the House Speaker's prerogative to invite the president to give a State of the Union. Okay, so she can, which would be, while there's no precedent for it that we're aware of. This is CNN's Phil Mattingly and Ted Barrett. If Pelosi decides the president shouldn't go to the Capitol to speak on January 29th, the president will not go on January 29th. Could you imagine if he goes and she's like, nah, you can't come in. You can't come in. You cannot even come in. You know what? Look, who cares? If she wants to be petulant, if they want to be petulant, if they want to be insulting, this is only going to help Trump. The more you understand what's going on, the more you realize Democrats are bullying Trump. It's not the other way around. I mean, I'm not, okay, Democrats are the tormentors. Trump is not a bully. He's not bullying anyone. He's never bullied anyone. Whereas Hillary Clinton does things surreptitiously and has the media cover for her and James Comey cover for her crimes. And then she fabricates Trump Russia. It's Trump who has been unfairly and illegally spied on, accused of things he didn't do. These are all, this is an example, yet another example of Democrats overreaching. And let them look, they can't stand Trump. They despise him not for policy. They despise him because he's not the establishment. They despise him because he offers a mirror. All the amazing people who are all those amazing people who are saying that, oh, Trump is this monster, this bully, he's everything horrible in life. And they have all these theories. Well, he speaks to this and that, and the tiki torch and all that stuff, and all the horrible people. You won't hear from them once there's an establishment Democrat in office. You won't hear, there won't be outrage. The left will silence its loudest voices of today whenever they get back into power. And they look, is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez drafting any Medicare for all legislation? No, she's not. No, she's not. So all the pundits and all the people, oh, well, we need this, we need that, we need this, we need that. Well, nothing's happening. She's not inviting. So he's gonna give a State of the Union from the Oval Office, which is insulting. But you know what? It is what it is. I think that's ridiculous. I think it's very insulting. I actually find it offensive. But you know what? Who cares? Who cares what I find offensive? This is Pelosi's doing as well, and she's uninviting him to Congress because they won't capitulate, whereas they spend tens of billions of dollars, hundreds of billions every year on interventions and flawed foreign policy. They have no problem with that. This, they don't want to give Trump a wall, so they're going to not invite him. It's not going to resonate well, and it's going to embolden Trump voters. It's going to embolden Trump voters. That's it. It's going to embolden Trump voters. Thank you, Jason. Yeah, I just it's interesting. So she can what he should this is what he should do. If this is what President Trump should do. He should televise it, and he should have a Q&A on YouTube with Tom Fitton of Judicial Watch. And he should publicize every single aspect of the Mueller probe with Tom Fitton of Judicial Watch. It would be seen by millions and millions and millions of people. He should talk about how, with Tom Fitton, how she possibly transferred top secret intelligence outside of the United States government. That's what would be amazing. This is a move that's actually going to backfire on Clinton. I mean, on Pelosi. Sorry. Pelosi's like, you're not coming to. You know what? You were invited to the State of the Union, but now you can do it in an abandoned warehouse if for all I care. Go ahead. Go into an alley. Do it on the rooftop of an abandoned apartment building. Whatever, I don't care. You're not going to Congress. We own it. We control it. We're a co-equal branch. So let's read this. Pelosi's latest effort. Notice, by the way, they're not focused on Medicare for all, abolishing ICE, a green economy, $15 minimum wage. Bernie Sanders at this point is such a tool of the Democratic Party. I love the guy as a human being. I don't say love. I admire him as a human being. He's probably doing this in some way to justify that one day there will be Medicare for all. But see, that's not how you wrestle power or control away from the same people who cheated you. I don't understand this. You spend your life devoted to defeating the oligarchy or 1% or whatever. And then all these pundits are like, yeah, defeat the oligarchy, man. And it's at the end of the day, what happens? What have you done? What do you do? You think Bernie Sanders helped them win the House? Bernie Sanders could have left the Democratic Party and it would have crumbled. And he would have said, you know what? I'll come back, but you better implement Medicare for all, which I don't think is feasible. And I've stated that before, and I'll debate anyone on that. Anyone with a platform. I already challenged Humanist Report. He never emailed me. I don't have Twitter, but it's Contact Goodman 78. By the way, my first, quote unquote newsletter went out before this segment. But I mean, it's like now, like, what are they doing? Think about it. What are they doing? What are they doing? What are they doing? The only thing they're doing, ladies and gentlemen, the only thing is playing games. They're They're not funding Trump's. They're not giving the funding Trump wants. They're not giving the funding Trump wants. They're not allowing him to to give a State of the Union. They're so petulant. They have the media and they have late night and they have all this negative emotion towards Trump, whereas all the people in Hollywood, Trump became president because he had The Apprentice, because he was in the spotlight for 30 years. Then you have CNN, why Vladimir Putin is winning. They had Obama presided over a uranium sale. Obama presided over a uranium sale. It's just unbelievable. You have 2 years, ladies and gentlemen, 2 years of a completely fabricated, completely phony, ridiculous hoax. Completely phony. You have a Steele dossier purchased by Hillary Clinton. Steele dossier purchased by Hillary Clinton. She purchased her own Russian hacking myth. She literally purchased her own Russian hacking myth with CrowdStrike. Nothing was proven true by the Steele dossier. And it's just unbelievable because, the thing is, like, you have media, you have Hollywood, and they can get away with pretty much everything. But they weren't able to win the election. They weren't able to cheat. And now they're uninviting Trump to the State of the Union, which would eventually it's going to help. Speaker Pelosi. It's like a special counsel Mueller. It's like these titles are given to the most corrupt people. President Trump actually won, though. That's the difference. Speaker Pelosi lied about, she allowed other people to lie about Medicare for all. They're not going to. Do you think Democrats lack the intelligence to go into 2020? The establishment Democrats, you think they lack the intelligence to go into 2020 with astronomical tax increases? The same base that was cheated is the same base that will be cheated and lied to and deceived. And they won't do anything about it. And the same people who claim to be Bernie supporters are going to say, oh, well, vote for the Democrat. At the end of the day, it's better than Trump. It's better than Trump bringing home Americans from conflict, which is why every Bernie supporter should vote for Trump. It's better than Trump presiding over peace between North and South Korea. It's better than Trump presiding over a good economy. What is it they don't like about Trump? Oh, well, he represents this, which represents that, which represents this ridiculous theory. What is it they don't like about Trump? People are suffering. Oh, were they suffering under Obama? I would love to debate Humanist Report. I would love to debate Secular Talk anytime they want, any Cenk Uygur, anyone. Because I know I used to be from the left. I know how duplicitous, I know the disingenuous nature of people who just hate Trump for no reason. Whereas their value system should correlate to why Trump is a good president. Bringing home Americans, being the antithesis of Max Boot. Is he a pacifist? No. But he's not Max Boot. He's not Max Boot. That's the thing. At the end, this too is not sustainable. This too is not sustainable. Agent Pepsi won. Trump doesn't have to speak to Congress. Trump needs to give State of the Union of Oval Office, citing Democrats refuse to allow him in. Yeah. He should speak from the Oval Office. You know, can I tell you something? To watch all the petulant Democrats not stand, I'd rather him speak in the Oval Office. Well, we're not standing. We're going to impeach the... And I love that. It's so hilarious that when... I can't even say it because it's, part of YouTube policies. But when that happened, everyone was like, no, he shouldn't have said that. He shouldn't have said that. He shouldn't have said that. The Democrats were like, no, she shouldn't have said that. One of the congresswomen who helped Democrats win the House got clowned by the same people who constantly deceive. And it's like never ending. It's like never ending. It's never ending. It doesn't ever end. It doesn't ever end. I'm actually upset about that. I'm actually upset that they would be so petulant. They would be so insulting. Well, that's it. It's like... It's like, it never ends. It never ends. And it's not like the media is going to call them out. It's not like the media is going to be like, well, the only thing that will end this is if you flip the script. They have to flip the script. William Barr has to do the right thing. And he will. And he will. Larry, hello. Pelosi and Democrats will of course scoff at that logic. Donald Trump Jr. Speaker Pelosi is attempting to block my father from giving a State of the Union speech, not because 20% of the government is shut down, but because she is terrified of him having another opportunity to speak directly to the American people about her party's obstruction. Absolutely. Unfiltered. Pelosi and Democrats, of course, will scoff at that logic. They will note that Kristen Nielsen, the Secretary of the Department of Homeland, designated SOTU speech. And as Trump continues to demand $5 billion for the wall to keep the government closed until he gets it. Yeah, look, Democrats obviously don't care. They're not giving the money. They give the money for anything else that it would be contrary to liberal or progressive vantage points. Anything else. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez voted to fund Homeland Security, which is ICE. She ran on abolishing ICE. She wanted to abolish ICE, abolish ICE, abolish ICE. Oh my God. This is Town Hall. Voted last week to give ICE more funding. President Trump delivered his address on, it's a crisis. growing. Representative Alexandria Cortez, one of the most prominent anti-ICE members of Congress, as well as one of the faces of ascending progressive wing of the party. Last night, MSNBC, Okay. Given that, Virginia Cruda at the Daily Caller wrote today that this creed was odd, given that Ocasio-Cortez voted to give ICE more money. She voted A on the House, I on the House Joint Resolution 1 on January 3rd. Yay or nay? House Joint Resolution 1 on January 3rd, 2019. She herself had voted to fund ICE through the end of the fiscal year. House Joint Resolution 1, according to the final roll call, passed with 100% Democratic support. Because ICE is funded through DHS, Department of Homeland Security, Ocasio-Cortez cast one of her votes. One of her first votes as Congresswoman to continue funding the agency she has repeatedly called for abolishing, systematically violating human rights. She couldn't simply say, no, ICE is part of the Department of Homeland Security, not doing it. I want to abolish ICE, so I can't vote for this. How difficult is that to do? How difficult is that to do? It's like unbelievable. It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. Thank you, A. Thank you, A. I can never vote for Bernie. I could never vote for Bernie. I could never, ever vote for Bernie Sanders because I can never, any Democrat that wins is going to be a tool of the establishment. That's it. Because the Democratic nominee will simply be a person allowed to win by Clinton, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Donna Brazile, everyone who basically cheated Bernie Sanders before. That's it. That's it. You know, it's like that's it. You know, it's pretty unbelievable. And as you can see, it's not about. It's really not about. It's not about value system. That's why nobody on the left would ever really debate me. If they claim to hate Trump, they would never debate me because I would call them out on all their hypocrisy. They hate Trump because of theories that and euphemisms. In terms of Bob Mueller and Robert Mueller and William Barr, I don't think that. I think at the end of the day, I mean, the same could be said. Look, if they're such great friends, why is thank you, Jay Hold, thank you. Hello, one lost dude. If they're such great friends, then why on earth is Mueller doing everything to undermine Trump? If William Barr wants to, I mean, if William Barr either agreed with Trump or it works both ways. But also the thing is, in government, just like in Hollywood, there are no friends. People watching this, all 320 people, when I have friends, I have family, you have friends, you have family. We don't have ulterior motives. We don't have, like Aristotle stated, utility friendships. The reason also people don't like me, like when I was on the left, and even, now that I'm a Trump supporter, some people, are annoyed by me because of my statements against what, that letter, which is absurd. But one thing about me is I am genuine. I don't have any ulterior motives. My viewpoints or my viewpoints because of public record, because of my opinions, because of you can see where I'm coming from my writing in The Hill, the Huffington Post, Salon, the Daily Caller, the Jerusalem Post. You can see where I'm coming from. I don't need to I don't need to gain favor with different groups because when I was on the left, they didn't accept me, so to speak. That's why the Daily Beast wrote a hit piece on me. That's why Raw Story wrote hit pieces on me. That's why all of them wrote hit pieces on me. When I was on the left, I didn't need to be part of any faction. I didn't need to. But that's what the left is about, really. It's more so, and the right is conservatives or Trump supporters. There's a tiny element of that also. But you know what? When you become a Trump supporter, and this is for everyone, if you're watching this channel, if you're a progressive and you can't stand Democrats, and if you like Trump, or you think Trump is okay or not that bad, or you can envision yourself voting for Trump, you don't have to tell your friends, you don't have to tell people, because then they will judge, condemn. The left lives to judge and condemn. But one thing, becoming a Trump supporter is a liberating experience. You don't have to live up to anything. You can simply vote for a president who brings home Americans from never-ending quagmires. That's why I loved Bernie. That's why I wrote about Rand Paul. That's why I wrote once upon a time about Elizabeth Warren and all these people. They're like, well, how can you go? There's no way that you could go from this person to that person. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. Of course there is. Of course there is, because my value system puts foreign policy. It's more important. Foreign policy is the number one issue I'm voting on. And if I have a choice, anyone other than the max boot, Hillary Clinton, interventionist foreign policy that intervenes, ousts a dictator, and then results in the destruction of an African nation. There's nothing worse than what Obama did. So it's like, same with if you go through my debates, you can see I've debated everybody from Jordan Sather to Richard Spencer to a far left journalist to a person who I used to be friends with, who I was on his channel a lot, and then he didn't like a journalist that was wonderful, and she was on the left, and I don't want to bring up old, rivalries or whatever, but everyone has one thing in common that I debated. They all have to keep up appearances. They all have to keep up appearances. They all adhere to one flawed theory or just overt hoax. And you can go through my debates. Everyone I've debated, it's like I interviewed an Antifa member, but I didn't really debate him. But he actually believed what he believed. The only genuine person that I interviewed was an Antifa member who actually did believe what he believed. But everyone else, it's like they didn't want to admit something. They didn't want to admit an aspect of hypocrisy within their value system. Or they didn't want to disclose information that would have undermined their entire theory on life or politics or whatever. Anyway, it's pretty simple, it's pretty simple when you know that your intellectual or political opponent doesn't truly believe, like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, for example, doesn't truly want Medicare for all. She doesn't truly want to abolish ICE. She didn't have to vote to fund Department of Homeland Security. See, that undermines her belief system. She has not come in joining forces with another progressive congresswoman or congressman to draft Medicare for all legislation. That didn't happen. When you really want something, like in a relationship with your wife, your husband, if you're a good parent, if you really want something, then you do what it takes to get it done. You can tell when somebody is half whatting it. Democrats, they don't really care about their value system. They care about political influence. That's it. Political influence, political power. How is Nancy Pelosi so wealthy? She is a public servant her whole life. Over 20 million? Okay, how is Clinton? The Clintons, how are they so wealthy? Well, we know from speeches, from quid pro quo. 240. How Bill and Hillary Clinton made $240 million in the last 15 years. See, they're not in real estate. They sell themselves. They sell their political connections. That's the Clinton Foundation has enriched Bill Clinton. We know that from the Podesta emails. But see, that's the thing. They're not about values. She hasn't drafted any legislation about the Green New Deal. She just says, "Oh, well, I think we should tax people above 10 million." There's no legislation regarding that. Where's the when you go into Congress? Okay, how Congress drafts legislation. Let's talk about this. Draft bills. Legislation can be written by anyone, but only a member of Congress can introduce a bill for consideration. Why didn't Alexandria or anyone? Why isn't Nancy Pelosi introducing a bill on Medicare for all? Now, I'm not saying, let me tell you something for the people who, I'm not even saying that, forget about whether it's feasible. Forget about whether it's feasible. Why hasn't she done this? Here you go. Enact a law. Learn about the legislative process. The Democrats should just learn this. How laws are made. The Democrats should lose. Every law starts with an idea. A bill is introduced. The bill goes to committee. Congress debates and votes. A bill can start in either house of Congress when it's introduced by its primary sponsor. Has Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez sponsored anything new? In the House of Representatives, bills are placed in a wooden box called the hopper. Nice. Where's the hopper? Why hasn't she placed any bills in the hopper? Why hasn't Pelosi used the hopper? She promised Medicare for all. She promised the Green New Deal. Well, Pelosi didn't, but everyone else did. Actually, the only person who kind of didn't lie is Pelosi. She's like, I'm not rubber stamping any of these. You can go ahead and tell people, and I just will not do anything. Every law starts with an idea. The bill is introduced. Why hasn't she introduced any bill? Why hasn't she written any legislation? Government 101. How a bill becomes a law. Legislation is handed to the clerk or placed in the hopper. The hopper. Any member can introduce a piece of legislation. Why haven't Democrats introduced Medicare for all legislation? Why haven't they put a bill on the hopper? Well, they promised it, and they're never going to do it. They're never going to do it because they don't need to do it. They already got the House. They got what they wanted. So we'll see, we'll see what other slight, what other insult happens with Trump. No, you can't do this. We're not letting you do this. We're uninviting you. Have you ever heard of something so absurd in your life? A president of the United States of America. But see, that's the thing. If 75% of the country wants it, I'm being honest here, okay? I could be, let's say I'm wrong. Let's say I'm wrong. Hear me out now. I'm wrong. Medicare for all is feasible. I'm wrong. The majority of the country wants it. Okay. They should have come in already with legislation. The fact that they didn't means they're never going to. They are never going to write legislation because they're not going to go into 2020 with massive tax increases. Okay, so I am, but that's my point is they're not going to do it because they already got what they wanted. They deceived people just like they deceived Bernie Sanders voters, just like they cheated. That's the thing. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much to my super chat. Thank you. God bless. Ladies and gentlemen, did you get, for the people who gave me their email, did you get the email newsletter, the email about this segment? Press 1 if you got an email. Press 1 if you got an email. Press 1. Is this mic working? Oh, nice. Okay, good. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. Hit subscribe right now. That's my upload. Thank you. I will see you a little later.